talking about soul fragments, restoring soul fragments. We're going to learn about how that even happens, what happens, and how we can truly bring our fragments back into wholeness so that we can live a very beautiful life. My guest today is Cathleena Hailley. She is a quantum healer and a remarkable woman who really steps into her mastery so that you can step into your mastery as well. She works with the Council of Nine Collective, and this includes Jesus, Metatron, and other ascended masters. Hi, Cathleena. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you for having me. It's always wonderful to see you. We always have a nice synergy. I've been with you several times, and I do a lot of these different talks, and certain people I have a special synergy. You're one of the people that I have a special. I feel anyway. How you feel when I get with you, but yeah, there's a certain energetic field that's really nice and comfortable. So I like it.
Thank you. I love being here in this quantum space with you, and the wisdom that you share is so helpful for our audience. I do want to just say that. And it's exquisite the work that you do. We're going to be able to witness some of that today as you work with people. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about, we see in your bio that you incarnated as an Arcturian, an Andromedan, and as a member of the Council of Nine Collective. So you remember this about yourself. This is your quantum remembrance, your multidimensionality that you know. What was that like for you to discover? How did you discover this?
Well, that's an interesting journey. I became more aware through just my normal human development through chronological time. But it was really from very young, and I've shared this before, that I always felt different, and I was very alert, very aware, very kind of cautious and noticing, and so there's just a lot of energy that was around. And I did learn transcendental meditation when I was a kid. My father introduced me to that, and during that time I realized later that there were two beings that were with me, and I believe it was Yeshua, Jesus, and Mary Magdalene, and we held hands. And so then the three of us went deeper than where I already was in meditation. And from there, I was taken to the Akashic records that I saw, which I visualized as like almost like a Roman building with these big pillars, and there were light beings there at the time, and I believe that was the Andromedans, Arcturians, Syrians, Pleiadians, so on. I was very young. I was like 6 years old, so I didn't know who these beings were or what that was. It really wasn't until when I had the real awareness, fast forward to like 1994, I think, 93, 94, 94. I had a psychic reading for the first time. It's so funny because I had different times when I knew about psychic. I had been a massage therapist for quite some time, and there were a lot of interesting things that were starting to happen. And I was just sort of hanging out and thought, this is curious, energy is curious, but I didn't think any direction of it. And I remember this particular time I came across a New Age magazine called Pathways, and it had a little psychic fair that was there. And I thought, okay, I'll go have a reading. And I ended up going to the psychic fair, and I did these, you sign up for 10-minute readings or something. And so I signed up for these like 10-minute generic readings. And at the last minute, there was a woman that said to me, "Oh, there's this woman, Ginny, and she's really amazing. She doesn't come very often, so I think you should see her." I said, okay. So I ended up going, and I did my rounds, and I saw Ginny as well, and it was all just generic. It wasn't too much there, but for whatever reason, I took her card, and so then I went home, and I was living in the DC area in Virginia at the time, and she was living in Maryland. And I remember actually standing in my apartment and saying, "Wouldn't it be cool if I had these abilities?" Because I still wasn't really connected into everything who I was, and so anyway, I decided to have a full reading with her. And instead of going to her home, I could have done that. I decided to do it over the phone. And at the time, so I had a reading, and it was, again, a pretty generic reading. And at the time they give tapes, cassette tapes. And so she sent me a cassette tape, and mine was blank. And so, I called her and I said, mine's blank. And she said, well, this never happened. You need to come here. And so that's when I was introduced to the council and to, a lot of different beings. And she described them differently from, Arcturians and so on, because we didn't really have that dialogue and language. And that's when they said to me that I did automatic writing, and that they wanted me to go to the same space in the same time, begin to write. And that's when things started to really come forward, of like my handheld instrument that I have, the frequency adjuster. And so it was just then sequencing. And I think what that did, for me, was further awaken my guidance system. I think we all have a natural guidance system. We're giving information. People don't just happenstance into our reality. Things are coming into our reality all the time, very specifically, and talk about soul fragments. It's from different timelines and different things that were going on. And so everything was sequenced. And I think my whole journey was the wake up. And it really is for all of us. This is really what we're here for, right? Is to have the remembrance of the law of one. And so, I had many different sequences that were coming in, but it's whether or not you go like this towards it, or you go, it's kind of like, and we do that, right? But it'll come, something else will come in. And so, there's much more to that story, but I won't go into that at this point. But yeah, it's like, I think it's my journey from that became, every day I said, help me stay out of my own way. And then it was more of the remembrance, and now it's let go of everything, so that I have that pure guidance, and it really becomes how you go further, and getting to know, certainly the different collectives and different things like that. You can certainly read about them and get kind of characteristics and stuff like that of getting an idea. But the more that one becomes the witnessing observer of yourself in the world, that's the key. It's like I had all these things that would happen in my lifetime, good, bad, right, wrong, whatever. And there really isn't a good, bad, right, or wrong, but let's just say, people and events, that would go in a place that I liked, and times when I didn't like. And I began to observe all of it. Like, who am I really being? Because this is me. This is happening to me. I mean, we can blame, we can say this is a certain pattern. Yes. Okay. But I'm source conscious. What am I doing? What is it? And through that began to really unwind the story, of like, okay, not only why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this because I'm energy and frequency. And so we're doing this because of the different lifetimes, the different connectedness, it's this huge piece, that's really come forward. And I will continue just for a minute with this, because this has really came forward recently about what we're really doing in human existence, and what this time is about right now is in the awakening. What's happening is that we're the desire is to be in the present moment, right? Truly be in the present moment. I got my feet on the floor. I'm looking at my eyes. I'm in the present moment. Why we're doing that is because this present moment is the 0 point. It is the place of no thing and all possibilities. It is when I am my multidimensional self. And when I am that, I can really experience what I am doing, what I'm creating, what is the subliminal messaging that I'm sending out, and the literal, whether it's through eye contact, different things that I'm doing. And what all that is the unwinding of our participation in this entire matrix. So in other words, like our reactions to people, good, bad, anything, our reactions, how we're defining love, all these different things, is all based on, it's all, what's happening is that, we've had timelines, like we'll say it's a person that comes into reality. we've had a timeline with that person. I mean, every once in a while it's a brand new, but very, very rarely. Most of the time we've had some type of timeline with that person. And so we can have like a super draw, like, oh, wow, I really love that person. I'm really into them. But then you watch, it'll flip and pretty quickly, usually too, with that, you can have it one way or the other way. It can be, and why that's going on is because that's significant of the various different timelines. And most likely you had more than one timeline with that person, which is also why it will flip, because one of the timelines might be in a time when there was a synergy or some energetic. Another timeline might have been where they were dominant and you were, the more passive one, or you could be the opposite. And this is the bigger piece, and why this is so important to kind of grasp is because this is what we're doing through judgment all the time right now, is we're sizing people up and we're doing all these things and we're not realizing, if we could just be in observation mode of ourself around other people, that is the restoring the soul fragments, because the soul is fragmented in those timelines of those life events that's telling a story in this lifetime. And when those people come into our lifetime in this lifetime, it triggers that, and we can either battle it and stay in that whatever's going on, or we can go into that place of neutrality and say, okay, what's happening to me? What's going on? And through that, and it's particularly right now because the veils are so lifted that this is what's happening. And it wouldn't surprise me if everybody's going through this even much more intensely right now, because this is the like awakening of the ego, right? Of allowing that to really release. But as we can drop into that neutrality, that's when we get a bigger, we can release all of those energetics. In essence, what we're releasing, we're really restoring, right? We're bringing back those soul fragments that don't remember that they are the oneness, right? And so this bigger journey, and I'm sort of tapping into it, but and those that maybe don't know me, but I'm not arbitrarily talking. I'm on many, many multidimensional levels and a lot of things that are happening, going on. But this is a big piece coming in that I'm sure I'll be talking more about as I continue on. But anyway, good. Sorry.
Oh,
There was a lot that came forward, but it was really just felt very poignant.
yes, it totally sets the pace for our conversation as we talk about ourselves as quantum humans. We are quantum. We are multidimensional. And so as we remember these soul fragments by observing ourselves in every situation, what do we do with that? What is that like to restore or release that energetic?
Yeah.
I guess let's see. There was another piece of that because I was thinking about um well, I'll just let you answer that because I've just this past weekend I was watching how I would respond to things.
Mhm.
At one point, I really had to stop myself and say, "What is that?" It was so unlike me.
Mhm.
Right? I was not in an altered state or anything. I was pure and clean, and I was finding myself reacting. This is what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yes.
There's something there. That's a thread. That's like a crumb, a cookie crumb that we need to go into. And I've often joked and said, it's these genes make your butt look fat or your butt look big. Genes, meaning your genetics, your GENES.
Mhm.
So when we observe ourselves from that point of being very present, we can see that, wow, we're not really showing up who we truly are. So what do you think is going on there? That's something, that's another timeline or another, it's a fragment. It's a wounded, it's something that's weird,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because what we've been playing and what is playing out in humanity is the power and vulnerability game, and the inorganic power and inorganic vulnerability game. So the inorganic power is something greater or less than something else, organic power is there's nothing greater than that I am, because I'm source consciousness. The inorganic vulnerability is weakness or fear.
Yeah.
Organic vulnerability is, it is what it is, I am what I am. And so because we've played in this, and all the characters are showing up through other people and other things, and it's all this game of hierarchical power and struggle and all of that, that's the triggers. Okay, so the key is, this is why, and I've said this a lot more recently, that what you think of me is none of my business is so profound and important, because what that it really signifies is, that it's about me, that it has to be my journey. It's entirely my journey. And with that, what with the unwinding and the way out is to really release the ego. And now the ego has a placement in the sense that, that part of ourselves, or that us is, the identification is helpful for, day-to-day stuff, maintenance of the body, and, not walking in front of a car, and, that type of thing. But in the journey, the identification of self through ego is the false matrix. And that's the game. It's like any place that we notice, am I feeling any competition? Am I feeling judged? What is all that? That's what I'm saying. And those are all fragmentations of our soul, because we have an imprint. So we've imprinted different things. And where the fragment aspect is that because time is not linear, time is more spherical, moving, that you that has played the role of, say, the power one over whoever happens to be in front of you that now is triggering you, whatever that game is, to say, that you is the one coming forward. Because if there's, like, say in a lifetime, maybe you played the role of being like super dominant and you dominate everybody around you, but in this lifetime you're like, no, okay, I came in, and most of us, we came in to disengage from the matrix. So we have an agreement, we're just going to hold light. So we don't know what to do with power of vulnerability in this lifetime. There's this constant battling going on. That's what is happening to most people. And then below that is all the shame and the blame, because we don't get it, and because humanity is still playing out good and bad, right or wrong. So there's this internal, like, worthiness and oh my God. And we don't know why that's going on, because those characters of ourselves are still playing the roles that they played until we bring them in, right? And that's that restoring those soul fragments and releasing those imprints. And the only way to do that is to keep coming in, and feeling the emotions, and identifying love, because it's all about self-love. And the identification of love is not at all external. The identification of love, the authentic feeling of love, is the complete surrender to the present moment. When we completely surrender to the present moment, that feeling that we have is love. And that's what we are. I am that. That's why I am that I seek, me, out of that. And let me tell you, this is not, I have my own journey, so don't think that I am an expert, but I am getting it. I feel it. I am able to represent it at this point. And this has absolutely been my own journey, because I've had lots of participation in all sides of the coin. I think we've all participated in the perpetration roles. And this is super important to take in, because, humanity, we all want to feel that we're just like love and light, which we are at our core, but we've all participated. And if we realize that participation is simply experience, and part of the participation is you don't even know. I mean, think about this. If you can be, and I felt this, where I'm like, I'm just innocently going along, and I am, feeling light, but yet I'm triggering people. And I'm like, what is happening? So I had to kind of feel that. And that's when I realized it's because we had a lifetime together and I dominated that person or something, who knows, whatever happened. And they're feeling it. And why are they feeling it? They're feeling it because something in me is carrying ego. And often that ego isn't necessarily in a place of like, ooh, here I am. It's more in an insecurity. But either one carries the energy that's going to trigger the other person. Okay, this is why it's so important to come into that present moment. That's why I said what you think about me is none of my business, in a way of like everything is none of my business, really. It's like, can I find me? Because you are unique. We are all absolute unique aspects of Prime Creator. Each one of us, absolutely unique and very important. And the way that we've been taught is to go out and become unique and find something different and label it differently and blah, 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 all these things. And then we compare, that's the game that's keeping us outside. But if instead we realize that we are absolutely unique because we are a unique aspect of source and that we're important in the whole. I've said this before, that if you think about yourself as a puzzle piece in the giant quantum field, but not a flat puzzle piece, you're a spherical moving puzzle piece. And so as you let go, discover, be you, contribute, you are beautifully synergistically aligning with all things in harmony and alignment with you and your soul signature and life itself. And this is what we're here. This is what we're here to remember, and this is the gift to humanity. And this is the biggest piece of service, really, that we can be. Because what it's doing is, this really isn't, this isn't a learning necessarily process. It's more of a remembering who we are, because as that, everything's about matching frequencies. And, we are, as source consciousness, we are vibrating at the highest frequency. And so no other frequency can sustain itself. So as we have that remembrance of that, those lower dimensional frequencies of shame and blame and all that stuff dissipate. They go. And wow, so much energy just came through. I feel a lot of gratitude. Wow, that just came at me. Thank you. Whew, a lot of energy. Wow.
Wow, we can all feel that.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah, a lot of love that just came forward. I was like, whoa, okay, thank you. Yes, I feel that energy, because that's it. This is it. This is what we're doing. This is what we're here for. And how cool is that if we can really get that? That's why I say a lot. It's all right here. But the magic is here. The body's everything, right? Everything. And so, but this piece is super important to get, because when we're getting around humans, we're having these triggers and stuff. And now we can have a better understanding. That's why I love the word understand and understand about what's happening, so that we're not jumping back and forth and you this and pushing that. And that's the game. So we don't play that anymore. You see what I mean? How the way out, and that's way bigger than what we think. That's the restoring those soul fragments. That's releasing the imprints. That's what it's all about. And that part of the journey is about the connection with Mother, with Gaia. Okay, that part of that whole journey is connecting with Gaia. Once we are able to completely surrender and allow into Gaia, then we have the opportunity to release all of that mind matrix stuff through the mind, which for those that follow me, they're going to see that on my website, that I'm getting ready to transition out of these particular, because I'm ending this particular Restoring the Soul Fragment series and moving into a dimensional field series, which is about that, about the releasing through the mind matrix, the mental energetics that's keeping us from our deeper connection to Prime Creator, to who we really are from our multidimensional galactic aspect self. So that's next pieces, because I realized that in order for us to really remember the law of one, we have to completely surrender to the earth first, and before we can let go of what's happening in the mind, because without that, there's no safety, right? Because this whole matrix has been through the mind. So it's telling you stuff. That's why when you come near a person, notice the dialoguing. So it's all about mastering the mind. And in order to really become the master of the mind, you've got to be able to feel safe within Gaia. You got to let go, because it can be maddening. We can like, oh, it's all this control, right? There's so much mastery in the game. So that's what this, the course that you're representing is about that. It's one of 12. There's 12 different restoring the original soul fragment and releasing the imprint. I think today's just on shame, I think, which is a really huge one. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Is that the one that I gave you? Is it on shame? I know I'm ahead of the game, but I was
No,
just
that's beautiful. It's a special offer. Kathleen is talking about a special offer that we have available for everyone watching and listening. And it's the work that she does to help with restoring. And, shame is such a deep,
it,
um, it's so deep and we shouldn't even be exposed to those feelings, those frequencies once we are in 0 point. It overcomes those frequencies. Cathleena, one of the things that impressed me with what you were speaking of there is the awareness. Usually we're thinking of us being triggered, you
Mhm.
know, that person's triggering me, that person's triggering me. But you made a very distinct point when you said you see yourself triggering others. That's a very mature perspective to take when we can see how we are triggering others. And many of us might miss that part,
Right.
right? Because we're just so self-absorbed in how we're feeling. But if we can truly understand that we trigger people,
Well, I
and,
think,
and to look at that with gentle eyes as
mhm,
well, not to judge ourselves.
yes. Well, I think in that is the awareness that triggering is going on, period, because it is the
Everybody's triggering
energetic.
it. Yes.
Yes, everybody's triggering everybody all the time because it is the energetic that is playing out called the false matrix. That is basically the energy that it is, and it's all designed to do a triggering aspect because what is a trigger? A trigger is never, ever, ever in the present moment. It's a guarantee you're not in the present moment because a trigger is always something from the past or future. So, this is what I'm trying to show that it's not you or me or one or the other. It is the game of our participation in this game. And our participation in the game has been through the false power and false vulnerability structures, the victim victimizer frequencies. This is the game. And so when we no longer are victim victimizer at all, we drop into that neutrality. Okay, we're not playing the game, but here's the thing, the game is unwinding through eons of time that it's been going on because this is what we're here for. So that's why it's not as simple as to say, okay, I drop into that neutrality and I stay in bliss. Yes, we do. But at that moment is when you're unaware that those aspects of self now are going to pop up and show up because so think about it this way that this is a inscension, not an ascension, because we are embodying ourselves and it's the body that has been vibrating at these denser frequencies. So the body's representing all of the participation in the lifetimes and so on. And so as I embody more of my I am presence, because everything's about matching frequencies. I've talked about this before. So think about frequencies simply as emotions, right? So and by universal law, faster moving frequencies always try to raise slower ones up to match them. So example might be if you and I come around each other and I'm happy and you're mad, what's going to happen is I'm going to irritate you because I'm vibrating at a faster rate and because my happy is trying to raise you up. So as long as I stay happy, you only have two choices. You either get happy with me or you go away. Same thing with the body. So if I embody my I am presence, and so I'm vibrating as pure source consciousness, probably the first thing is I'm going to irritate my body. This is why people get lots of different things going in their body because the body's vibrating at a different rate. But also what's happening is that all that is not in resonance with your pure source self is going to come out. So imagine it's like, say you've been walking in the woods and you've been picking up like those chiggers, the sticky things that you don't even realize you've done. And suddenly, you embody yourself and they go, and you're like, wow, look at all this stuff I have here. And so it becomes out here in your field. So it's not directly connected, but it's all about seeking a match. It's still going to seek a match because everything is frequency and energy, and you've been matching it in some way in order to be carrying it. Okay, your clothes, your room, everything's frequency and energy, right? So the idea is the more that we, embody ourselves, then releasing, these energetics from our field. I don't know if that answers them.
Yes, it's just fascinating, really fascinating. Okay, so there are questions coming in,
Mhm.
and this one is from Stuart. Hi, Stuart, thank you. People realize that they are triggering people. The reaction not to make yourself smaller because you realize that you are triggering people. Is that the perfect reaction?
That is a reaction. I don't know that there's a perfect, but I would say that if you're asking, is that stepping into the 0 point, that is the journey towards the 0 point. Yes, because it's the shrinking that we do that actually creates more of that we don't desire. Because so that's also the inverted. Everything's inverted, right? So, the embodiment of ourselves as source expresses our energy, and I've described this before, that it's like, think about, like in order for us to have a physical experience, we need a kind of container, right? So, the body's the container. Well, if that were a room, and say we have in the room, we have a candle lit in the corner of the room, that would mean like 25% of the room is light. That means 75% of the room is dark. And light is information, dark is the absence of information. And so and that light is you. So if that were your body, that would mean 25% of me is in my body. That means 75% is something else. Well, what is that something else? The collective beliefs, whatever. But in the case of us shrinking, that's what we're doing, is we're putting less of ourselves and more of everything else. But if instead, like in that room, all we have to do is expand that light across the room and all the darkness goes away. It's the exact same thing within the body. That's what the interesting thing about fear. That's why there's nothing to fear but fear itself, because what is it? It creates a contraction, which creates more of it, which is why first and foremost, just drop into the present moment. That's the first piece of the journey. Absolutely. If you're feeling retracting or pushing forward from an ego, because ego's different. That's a mind space energetic. That means I'm pushing more of that density energy. I'm not expanding my light. I'm pushing a frequency to try to get the other person to match that frequency with me. Because like when I gave the scenario about if I'm happy and you're mad and we come around each other, how many times have you been around somebody that you're happy and they're mad, and they're not happy till you're mad, and then you're mad, you got mad because you lowered your frequency. And this is where this power game has been played out. And this is what we're doing subliminally too, when we're holding our ego. And this was something I had to learn, because I carry such a large field, energetic field, that if I were doing that, what I thought was in the privacy of my mind, I was super triggering people. And I didn't know. And it was like, because we feel everything, this is a quantum field, and there is no privacy per se, nothing hidden, and so everything is we're experiencing as one. And so this is that journey of that self-reflection and saying, what am I doing? And think about this anyway. Why would we ever want to feel better by diminishing somebody else, or in reverse? I mean, how is that ever serving anybody anyway? It's such a masterful game of illusion until you come into this reality. I mean, that's what it happened to me. I was like, my heart of hearts knew that I just wanted peaceful love, joy for everyone. But my journey was not that. My journey was like, okay, I got to be the one. You're in that false savior program going, it's me. And then you feel it, you're in a class or something and somebody's talking and you're antsy. You're like, I can't wait to say it because you got to be the one to say it. And somewhere in you, you're thinking, yeah, it's because everybody needs to hear it. But that's all ego driven, and then the instructor is like, this person, and there's triggers that's going on every which way, until you start to realize, like, wait, what am I doing? Is it, I got to be seen, or I got to be heard, or what's happening? You know what I mean? And that this is what I'm saying. This is these next levels that we're stepping into, especially those of us that have done this a long time. And we're like, oh my gosh, I've done this so long and I can't figure it out. Well, this is why. Because they're still playing that push-pull. So in Stuart's question, the answer, yes, dropping into that neutrality lets you start to feel who you are and how you want to show up. Start to say, what's happening to me in that? If you're in a class and you're feeling that, it's like, wait, why am I feeling this? Do I need to be hurt? What's happening? Take a breath, drop into that 0 point, drop into that neutrality. Because in that place, you start getting your own guidance system. You start noticing maybe there's characters that have been in other lifetimes. That most likely there's lots of characters in other lifetimes in that class, in that room, and different stories and different things. And it's the opportunity to truly expand, truly to grow in a different way. And this is next levels, right, of what we're stepping into.
Wow.
Lot of energy coming in.
Yes, no, I love it. It's making us look and so for some, maybe we don't like to be in crowds. And so maybe and I had this recollection of my own journey, and I realized why I don't like crowds, because I can feel everyone. And anyway, I won't go into my own story on that because it's not important here. But when we are it's an opportunity is what I'm getting at. It's an opportunity to move away from those feelings, or just to examine those feelings, why we don't like crowds, examine it. And that is a pretty good healing aspect, a wholeness aspect, right?
Yes, yes. And in that, okay, what I would suggest, like if we say, okay, I don't like crowds, go into a crowd and become the master of your mind, because it is the mind that is the issue. And watch what happens. If you notice, then we go into a crowd. Yes, we're feeling everything, but the mind is telling a story and feeding a emotional frequency to the body, which is causing us to go like this. But if we then just notice what's the story, okay, that's in the mind, and most likely it's another version of you at a different, it's either a past life or most likely this lifetime, like a younger version that maybe felt stuck or something happened, and that part of you is not present, has not felt safe enough. So we need to give her opportunity to come forward. So if instead we take a breath, we do two things. We become the witnessing observer of ourselves in that now moment, and we let her know. So we're like, I'm an adult. I'm standing here. I'm uncomfortable. This is interesting. Become curious. So become curious. At the same time, that's there. That's when we can notice, there's an interesting energy going on. And then we notice it's the younger us. And then we bring her forward. We say, it's okay. This is where I say, if we can be the most incredible parent to that child, and to me, it's just holding space for her. So that's when we take a breath and we say, I'm good, I'm okay, but I'm feeling this at the same time. So that's the mastery of the mind, is telling that story to the mind that, no, we're right here, we're mastery, it's good. So that part of you can come forward and have the authentic experience and be like, oh yeah. And I had to practice that. I've become very masterful at that, because I would go into social scenarios and I would be panicking, especially younger. I always thought I wasn't extroverted. I was shy. I always thought I was shy. I'm like, obviously I'm not. But I didn't understand what's happening, or understand what's happening. And so but now I do an extra practice with this. If I'm heading to some social thing that's a group of people, I just really tell myself, I just say, okay, we're going to be really present. It's okay. I talk to all those aspects of self, of anything and any timelines, and I'm just like, and I just keep doing that. I just keep noticing. And what it is it's so that the journey from not being in my head, in my heart space, because that's what we do. We learn to protect through the mind, right? That's how we've been guided. Stay in the head. And most of us who are super empathic, all of us, this is where we've been living in our heads, in this protection, right? So it's like dropping into the physical present moment. Suddenly we're feeling everything, but who's feeling it, right? What age? But giving ourselves permission to just be it. It's kind of like, and I've described this before, it's like if you meet somebody for the first time you're attracted to, and you get that nervousness or you sweat bullets and all that. And what do? We shut it down. Well, what if I didn't shut it down and I allowed for it, and I stammer or I do silly things or whatever. But what's most important is later when you're home and you're by yourself and you're starting to do that torturing story, like, oh my God, what I do, you want to imagine that it's that younger version that's speaking it. And it's also her having that to you. And so when you're hearing like what I do, you say, you showed up. Good for you. It's okay. We're good. I'm happy. We're practicing. We're showing up, right? And this is our journey, and this is everybody. And just think how amazing this is if we're all just taking those. And this is 100% my journey, 100%. I continually just notice, am I stepping in with any dialogue? I tell that part of myself it's okay. We don't shut it off. We don't try to push it away. We just notice it's there and we come in, because the healing, this is, I mean, part of this whole restoring the fragments and becoming it is now being able to tell a different story. So an example of this might be that, if I'm a little girl and I'm playing in the dirt and somebody comes along and says, a girl doesn't do that. And I now stop. And so now my soul fragments off a piece of like freedom, like says, I'm not free, I'm not safe. So I fragment off and I imprint that I'm not free, I'm not safe. And so how that plays out in my reality would be, if I go to like a career later in life, I'm not going to pick something that's free and fun. I'm going to pick something that is practical, in order to do. But then as I'm restoring these, as I'm stepping in, now I have to feel that, okay, I'm not safe, but I get to say, but of course I'm safe because I'm right here. When this me can practice and go, I'm present and there can't be anything but safety. And then I can bring that little girl that had that image forward, and I can let her, because she's the vulnerable one, she's the one that wants to pull away and shrink when I feel judged, and so if I say, hey, we're safe right here, then she can kind of, you can really have this expression, like feeling it, like, oh, okay, can I really? It's like, yeah, okay. And then suddenly she's here, like, whoa, I feel good, like, wow, I feel big, because all we are is kids on the playground, right? And it's like, oh, life force again, you know, right? You can feel it. I mean, because I'm showing it to you, and many people here I know are feeling this because I'm not arbitrarily talking. We're bringing these soul fragments out as we're talking about this right now. So.
Yes, you absolutely are. You're helping us, even though we're talking, the talking is helping us reflect back in our life and situations and people. And I want to read a few comments here. Here's a comment from Kathy. Thank you for this, Kathy. She says, I just realized now that you've said this, I push my frequency onto my partner. And what was interesting is when you were sharing that, about frequency matches, oftentimes we'll just blame, you're lowering my vibration. And that's not a way to act or respond to anyone or anything. So so then I guess we'll bring it back around, coming into presence and saying, wow, okay, I'm sitting in a room with someone who's not making me feel good right now, but I'm not going to blame that person. I'm going to go in and see why I'm not feeling good, right?
Yeah, but I would also reiterate that and be like, okay, what am I feeling?
Uh-huh.
Because I'm in this space, because nobody can make me feel anyway. So what am I feeling?
Uh-huh.
Am I, again, it's that practicing, mastering the mind, mastering, being in that 0 point. Because clearly the first awareness is, okay, I'm triggered, so I'm not in the present moment. When you can remind yourself that if I'm triggered, I'm not in the present moment, and you become the witnessing observer, this is when you start to talk to yourself. What do you need? Okay, Cathleena, what's happening? What's going on here? Take a breath, pause, kind of step back, okay, because nobody can do anything. We're lowering, we're matching frequencies, we're doing that. We're either, 99% of conversations is manipulation, if not 100% typically. That is, I'm not just saying something, I'm trying to put something in you or take something from you. So we're practicing that authentic. And relationships are typically a power struggle in some way. They're playing the victim victimizer roles. This is what 99% of relationships are. Ownership. I'm either, the enslavement principles, I own you, you own me. The game, all of those types of things are playing out. And what we're attempting to step into is sovereignty. Sovereignty means self-governed internally. Can I be sovereign? Can I be in my own? Can I own my own self? Can I own what's happening to me? Somehow I'm wanting to squish this person, or I'm feeling like, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? Why am I doing? What's happening to me? Me. It's always right here. So the more that we can reflect upon those things, it doesn't mean we don't have discernment. We do have discernment, but we've forgotten it. This is when our guidance system gets awakened. Okay, so with our guidance system, we may say, okay, that individual or that energetic is just choosing to not, change their energetic field. But remember what I keep saying. If we're in the 0 point, we are vibrating as prime creator. That means that if that person stays in your field, they have no choice but to shift that energy, or they will go away, because it cannot sustain itself in that field. It can't. It's all about a match.
So if we're in that and we're starting to get perturbed, then our vibration really is being lowered.
Yes, we're doing it. Yes, we're lowering, right? We're lowering that. Why this is occurring at all is because we have fear and we have control and we have all this, it's like, but this is my partner and I need to do this and I needed that. We're not allowing ourselves to be genuine, because we're that's the limits and the limitations and the judgments and all of that going on, particularly limits and limitations. It's like that whole idea of like, I don't have a job, so oh my God, I need a job. Then you get a job and you think it's the only job or only partner. Or everything's about movement and flow, and we don't allow those things. We want to hold them. We want to stop them. This is why disease occurs. Disease in your relationships, disease in your body, disease in your financial, disease in your life. It all occurs because you're taking energetic that's in motion and you're wanting to hold it. This is again that inverted matrix. And remember, I'm not arbitrarily talking to you, so a lot of energy is happening. There's so much, we're expanding. This is a big piece. Let's say, everybody take a breath. Oh, it's a lot of huge energy here happening today.
We're at 0 point right now, right here. So, wow. So healing, actually. Okay. Here's another comment. And then we're going to go to Susan, who has her hand raised. When a person's words don't match their thoughts, that is in real time, that triggers me. I get irritated as they aren't being honest. My reaction is not to give a crap about interacting. I'm aware being physically unsafe honed this. How am I to flip this?
Well, I think it's when we recognize that everything in our reality is we're creating. So I think it's more about, asking ourselves, okay, so why am I attracting individuals that are not speaking their truths? How is that a reflection upon me? Am I doing that? Am I doing that literally? Am I speaking my truth? Am I free? What am I doing? And also, if we go back to what I said earlier about the different timelines that we played with each other, is the trigger here because you're feeling, that this person is feeling they're more powerful than me? It's pushing me in a way. What's the real energetic that I'm feeling there? This is what it is. It's because it's like that. I need to be right. I need to be correct. Okay, that's power. That's a power struggle. That's a power game. That's something else. Because if instead I'm just in a neutrality, and if I'm in compassion for that individual, and I'm curious why I'm experiencing that they're not telling their truth, then I'm reflecting upon myself. Remember what I said before, that we trigger people. Well, am I holding some kind of a power energy that they're, that that's what they're feeling, that somewhere in them, they're not feeling safe enough to come forward. There's something going on. What is really going on? Am I truly in a place of compassion? Where am I? Because it's all about us, it's really because we're the ones that are carrying these energetics. And these are some of the hardest places and hardest things to do because we're so used to battling, oh, I gotta, you know, and let me tell you, I mean, I've gotten pretty masterful at this, but it really is, it's about it just, it becomes easier and easier when you realize, when you take away the idea of out here and you bring it all here, you just say, okay, wait. What am I feeling and who am I really? Do I want to be a person that wants to squish this person? Do I want to be a person that wants to be, to dominate them? What am I really doing? What's really happening here? Because we're all one, right? And when we can, come from our heart space, because in that case, you're coming from your mind space, not your heart space. When we come from the heart space, we come from a place of compassion. And some of the hardest places are the ones that we feel perpetrated from, for us to have compassion for. But, when we can, feel the us being that person in the ways that we've done that, and why are we doing that? Because of our own fears or insecurities or whatever, that's the compassion that we can hold for that individual, which gives them opportunity to come into the divine forgiveness, forgive me, forgive you, love me, love you, compassion for me, compassion for you, gratitude for me, gratitude for you. Because this is the unwinding of the game, right? That it's just been a game that we've been playing of power and vulnerability, but we're all one, and there is no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just energy and frequency, and it all here. Right.
Yes, and so pay attention and feel it. Okay. All right. I am full with reflection for even my own experiences. And again, I'll say it one more time. There's such healing in this conversation
Yeah.
from understanding what it is that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Susan. Susan, you have your hand raised and you can unmute.
Hey,
Hi,
This
Lorraine. Hi,
is
Cathleena. It's Sue.
Hi,
Bob
Sue.
said hi also, Lorraine.
Hi.
Okay, here's my question. You were talking about right now about soul fragmentation, and the veil is kind of thin right now. I wonder if you can clue in. I know I'm part of Turian and who knows what else, but right now I'm having like fragmented colors coming out as I'm seeing them. I'm seeing colorful patterns and geometric shapes. And I feel fragmented. Like my husband says, Sue, come back to Earth. I feel separated from Earth right now. Like I don't belong here. Like I'm out in the universe somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Is this because the veil's so thin again?
Well, I think it's because because you're seeing things, you're experiencing things. My encouragement for you is to ground yourself, go out to the earth, put your feet
Uh-huh.
on the earth, take your shoes off, allow yourself, and be curious with this information. Be more like, this is interesting. These colors are coming forward. What is this? What do I feel when they're around? Are they penetrating into my body? Are they bringing me information? Because it feels like to me, do you have physical things in your body? You have different things going on in your physical body?
Yes. And it's mainly, as Loren knows, with my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why these colors are all there, and it's why you're seeing them. That's actually too, because they're healing frequencies that want to come in to you and show you, and so, and part of your energetics. And so I think the more that you just get curious, allow for that energetic, sort of breathe them in, encourage them to come into your body, I think you'll start to feel something different. way that I'm seeing it is like, well, sort of the eyes are the windows of the soul. They're master computers. They take in a lot of information. So,
Mhm.
so these frequencies, these colors are frequencies. They're energetic. They're like when I'm looking at the blues, I can see a blue and a yellow and a sort of a gold and so on.
Mhm.
And this is the blue is a higher, it's a certain frequency of divine father, like a prime creator. So that's actually trying to bring you a sense of structure, safety kind of in your own self, in your own body, in your own, embodying yourself. The golden that I'm looking, that's a also it's a high frequency, but it's like a divine abundance. It feels like abundance for you in a birthright of like health, also wealth, energy, but information. Yeah, that one, as I'm feeling, as I'm talking to you, I'm watching it kind of go in around the head and into, wants to awaken the pineal more, and allow that energy to go. Just take a breath and we'll just take that down your body, because I'm just bringing that down all the way out and out your feet. It's just opening up those portals in your feet, allowing it to go down. Take a breath. So it's going to move that all the way down through your body. I'm going to bring in that blue. The blue light too, this particular frequency is also allowing you to awaken to your own creativity, your own connectives. Yes, definitely Arcturian. I feel for sure the Arcturian's there. This is a part of what's coming in even more so as I'm speaking to you.
Are they the ones doing it and they're
No,
healing me?
no, this is nothing. It's not outside of you. It is you. So,
Oh,
that
okay.
way that was spoken as though I'm little me, you are source consciousness.
Right.
You're energetic. So
Right.
yes, in the sense that these energetics are creating a healing, yes, but it is your higher self, your aspect of self, your Arcturian
Mhm.
family that's also bringing all this energetic in and around you and for you, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot taking place right now. I think when I do the activation, it's going to be very helpful for you as well. Call on your Arcturian family to put you in the med bed, because that's what I'm seeing. That you can do that in a meditation where you just saying,
Uh-huh.
I would like to be in the med bed. And that it's going to further bring in some of these frequencies in this light to create some balancing within your body. That's what I'm looking at. I can already see it. There's a lot going on. You have things down lower too, maybe digestion, different things.
Yes, it's been very wild the last couple days, but the eyes, I'd say the last 2 days, it just started up out of nowhere. And I went, uh-oh, here we go again. And I was wondering if the veil was thin again. And when you said it was, I went, okay, here we start. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it'll all stop. And then all of a sudden, within a couple months, it starts up again.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The
that makes
veils
sense.
are thinning in general. In general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I'm more connected a lot of times to the other side very easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I see the angels, the archangels,
Mm-hmm.
whoever, they'll just come to me sometimes. And I mean, I see them like in my waking hours. And if I open up my eyes, I'm like, oh, hello. They're like standing there in front of me.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank
I
you.
guess I've opened up my gifts finally.
Yeah. Beautiful. Wow.
Well,
I see
thank you.
there's a lot happening for you. So yeah, I think with this energy coming in, I think
Okay.
it's going to continue to expand within your physical body. I feel a lot of it moving.
Yeah. And I feel it's healing my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Loren, I may get back to sight again. You never know.
Oh my God, that would be
Wouldn't
so.
that be? I know. I just feel it in my heart, though. It's going to happen.
Yes,
They're like
yes.
tuning me in or something.
You are tuning yourself in. That's so beautiful. And the way that you describe your experience that you're having,
Mm-hmm.
so many wish they have that too. So you're doing great, sister. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you both. I really appreciate it. It actually calmed down the body now that I understand more to deal with when this happens.
Good.
So thank you for that. I
You're,
really appreciate all your help and kindness.
yeah, you're welcome. Yeah,
And blessings to both of you also.
thank you. You as well. You're a beautiful bright light. I can definitely feel the energetics there.
Mhm.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you, Loren, with from the bottom of my heart, soul sister.
Thank you, Susan. And
Thank you.
thank you both. Thank you. Wow. I love I love these experiences. I feel like crying right now. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of
I
energy,
also
yeah.
I've done a lot of interviews today for another project I'm working on, and I find it fascinating. We were talking about colors
Yeah.
and the frequency of colors and how they can be used for healing. And there's illumined beings that are riding on these waves with color. So it's just really cool and very fascinating witnessing how we're experiencing these episodes with color and geometries in our life. Okay, so we've got other questions. There's more people with their hands raised. But Cathleena, you mentioned an activation.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that at this point.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
beautiful.
I'm just gonna I'll just do it intuitively of what I'm feeling about just expanding what has already been brought forward. So if everybody just wants to close their eyes and take some deep breaths, I'm gonna change the sound here on my end. Hold on 1 second. So that you get all the nuances. You might hear my fan in the background, but you're gonna get everything that I'm doing. So I make a lot of sounds, do a lot of different things. So just kind of go with it. Okay. Ako amakos alakito tumiski la kasanigo timo mot ala masila kasoko simina popos. Amokila kom au kwasarei te toko simida la kom moishu meneta la sakom. Release all attachments, seen and unseen, known and unknown, any MK Ultra mind control, holographic inserts, consciousness traps, reversal timeline loops, any 5G sonic frequencies, COVID or viral frequencies, any of the victimizer frequencies. Take a deep breath. Close all portals, gateways, pathways, meridians, stargates, wormholes of any access to my energy, past, present, and future, and all space-time continuum from my conscious, subconscious, and cellular memory. Take a deep breath. Asara que te peshmino kola papa kite te se komisini la kamo shina kinda kosmina bo pepe posini la kare te kuim. Amakete suki sumes la kata. Kasimia kopia pakala la kasimia kata mitra kasini kata kamata la kata. I'm opening your crown completely to Prime Creator. Gonna open up the portals in your feet to crystalline core of Sophia Gaia. Take a deep breath. Release from the legs the fear of movement, fear of moving forward, fear of change, fear of the unknown. I'm going to bring in a very high frequency of Prime Creator through your crown all the way down and out your feet. And as we're doing that, I'm just going to take all that energetic. We're going to change the direction only towards first and second dimensional fields, not from first and second dimensional fields. And I'm just going to move that energetic down, and we're going to take that and drop it into the crystalline core. I'm taking this out of your legs. Many of you have this fear of uncertainty, of moving forward, of not knowing. It's like you're planting your feet on the earth instead of being one in the flexibility movement. So I'm going to bring this deeper. Take a deep breath. Past, present, and future in all space-time continuum from my conscious, subconscious, and cellular level. I'm going to bring in a high frequency, a pink light. This is a certain frequency of Divine Mother. It's a galactic frequency. It's bringing in peace. I'm going to bring this into your central and peripheral nervous system, brainstem, brain. So the nervous system being peaceful, calming down any fight or flight, any anxiousness, energetics. Take a deep breath. I'm going to bring in an emerald green light. It's a golden emerald light that is a very high frequency, galactic frequency, into the quantum level of your DNA, of your cells, communicating a rejuvenation, regeneration frequency of remembrance of these principles within the deeper part of your entire body. Taking a deep breath, I'm just bringing this in and letting it absorb deeper within the body. Also going to bring in a blue frequency of it's like a divine father frequency into the brain. And this is just going to allow for you, more of you, your own dialoguing, let's say, to the brain. And at the same time, I'm also going to correct the inverted communication system from the brain to the heart. I'm going to create it from the heart to the brain now. It's in all senses to the heart, eyes, ears, taste, touch, smell. That's great. I'm just going to open that energetic up. Take a deep breath. It's expanding you 360 degrees. I'm going to drop you into the crystalline core of the earth, calibrating all elements, earth, fire, air, water, ether, in the diamond blue plasmic flame of the sixth element to all aspects of self, mental, physical, spiritual, etheric. Calibrating, integrating the quantum level of the carbon DNA to the crystalline DNA, to your original human genome, your original human blueprint, your I am presence. So it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So me kote me le kanata, like the fish me le batera. Eso cosa da vedere come me lo voy a cosa la le kita poco me la pasa le kita popshna ta da mo kote bas. Just bringing this calibration into the present moment as your crown is completely open to Prime Creator, your root into Sophia Gaia as above, as below, as below, as above. Just imagining energetic roots coming out the feet, out the legs. Wrapping around the crystalline core of the earth, these are crystal clear roots. We're calling in the 18th dimensional diamond consciousness of water, bringing in divine clarity and divine flow. And I'm just going to drop that into the fluid systems in the body, the brain fluid, the spinal fluid, interstitial fluid, all becoming divine clarity and flow. That's great. Deep breath. I'm just going to bring in a bit more of the sixth element of this blue plasmic field. This allows you to know your uniqueness and the oneness without separation, like knowing you're the droplet of water and the ocean at one time. So it's just going to enhance that into your field. I'm just going to bring that into the mental, physical, spiritual aspect of self. Emotional. Great, deep breath. Okay. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful, and I don't know, the energetics of that makes me want to curl up and go to sleep. All right, cool, cool, cool. Thank you for this. We are feeling vibrant actually as well. Okay,
Beautiful.
cool. Yeah, beautiful. So let's see. I would like to now, let's go to a few more callers that we have time for. Carolyn, you can talk. Hi, Carolyn. You can unmute yourself. Oh, wow.
Hi.
There you are. You sound good now.
Yeah. Yeah. That was so powerful. I'm just coming back too. Hi, Cathleena.
Hi.
Hi. First, during the process, it was all beautiful. I've seen all the colors. But when you brought in the blue, the masculine, I felt an opening in my womb. So I don't know what that was, and I don't need to know, but that was powerful, and it brought a little bit of tears. What I wrote down earlier, which I feel I've gotten already so much wisdom from this call with, a lot of anxiety in the past 2 months, unbearable anxiety where I'm not sleeping at all, and heart palpitations. So I'm trying to reset my clock now. I have to what it is. I heal everything you suggested to do. I already do with my inner child and journal and everything else, but it seems to be continuing. Any wisdom I don't know.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, the phone, there's a weird distortion on the phone. We can get most of it.
Better? Is this better?
That could be better, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. So what I said is during the process, I saw when you brought in the blue light, I felt a huge portal kind of in my womb, and that brought some tears. And in the past couple months, I've had a lot of anxiety symptoms, an inability to sleep, and massive heart palpitations. Now I've done all the physical stuff. My blood work is good. And everything you mentioned on the call with healing the inner child, I do tapping, I do qigong, all of that, right? And speaking to my inner self, journaling, but it's keeps at me. So any wisdom would be great. Thank you
Yeah,
so
right
much.
away, I felt like it's all about your creation. You know, the Divine Womb Center is the creator creation center. And having Divine Father, which is that energetic of the, you know, the divine masculine or the blueprint, really is the way that I see the masculine energetic is the blueprint of your creation, and then the divine feminine is the creator created part of it. You know, it's basically like the masculine is the paper, and the divine feminine is the person and the pencil. So, you know, allowing that into the Divine Womb Center for you, and it's all about, really, when I felt it, why you're having the anxiousness and all that is you know, it's fear. It's fear about survival. It's like, you know, can I create what I want? Can I really be the life that I want? You know, and I think you've done well to where you are, but there's a holding, and it is about that faith, trust, and surrender. And that's why that you had the profound you know, energetics with the blue light. And I would encourage you, definitely revisit this particular activation. I think you would benefit, you know, certainly from a private session if you choose to do that as well, to go in deeper with that. But that came forward right away. You know, it's like, okay, this is absolutely about your ability to create. You know, it's doubt, you have so on. I think you're a profound being. Do you do energy work? Are you one that's doing this type of stuff?
Yeah, I've been open and doing sessions with people and animals for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly, well, I think there's just so much more to what you are and who you are. And I feel like that's just been contained from the different traumas and different things in this lifetime and other lifetimes that you've experienced. And so, yeah, it's wanting to open and blossom and move and so on and so on. I mean, there's a lot more, but I'm not going to bring all that to you here. But yeah, there's this, it's definitely about creating creativity for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So much love to you both. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Beautiful.
Very good. Thank you, Carolyn. All
Yes,
right.
Oops. You lost Lauren. There you go. Oops. Yeah. You're muted. Yeah, I lost you there for a second. I was like, oh, I'm the host.
It's weird. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm on a hard line, and it's still interesting. So thank you for that, Caroline. Beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
I would like to say that I've put in the chat box that there is a link for Cathleena's special offer where you can get a personal session with her and also do her program for restoring soul fragments. This one is on shame. So we've got we'll take two more callers, but first I'd like you to talk a little bit about this program, well, a personal session with you and the program. How can people work with this? Restoring fragments for shame.
Yeah. Well, everything I do is in the 0 point. So no matter when you listen, it's in the now moment. Each time you listen, it's in the now moment. And so, you know, as you see, I do similar to what I did here. I do you know, activation with mudras and light language and moving technologies and energies and so on, because I'm doing a lot of geometry, things like that. So it is a 9-week course. It's pre-recorded. So like I said, but it's in the present moment. So you'll have access to it right away. It's called Restoring the Original Soul Fragment and Releasing the Imprint of Shame through the Brain and Body. So we go through different body systems. And the way that I was guided to channel it was that I read a certain portion. So I channeled something that I write, and then I read that. So that's a certain level of frequency that's getting released from that body system. It's a denser. And then when I go into the energetic, I'm going deeper into this present moment's physical body as well as other lifetimes physical body. And why it's through the brain and body is because the body's everything, right? We are energy having experience through the body. So releasing these energetics and how shame has been playing out in the various different body systems is what you know, I go through, and I give, like I said, energetics in relationship to that. And it's a very profound frequency, because we're playing out shame all the time. I said on very deep levels, there's this shame of participation. You know, it's one of the biggest things that's keeping humanity from, you know, really aligning with Sophia Gaia or Source. You know, it's something that's we're carrying under the surface. And sometimes, you know, we know we're carrying it, but for the most part, a lot of them carry. So it is one of the, I think, profound frequencies. And so that's what the series is all about. And in each one, you know, like I said, it's taking it from the various different body systems. And then the brain is the last one.
Okay, perfect. And those personal sessions are tailored exclusively for you and your current needs. So if this resonates with your heart and it feels good and you are seeking help from this beautiful teacher, she is available for you. Please check it out. It's also a link for this is also in the description box of wherever you're watching or listening to this program. Also on this webpage, you can just scroll down and find it. Thank you for that. And again, we want to make it easy for people to participate in this. So there's a payment option if that is helpful. Okay, cool. So we're going to go now to Denise. Hi, Denise. You can unmute yourself. If
There we
you're
are. You got me?
Yes.
I've loved everything today. Thank you, Cathleena, so much. I loved what you said about that. I wrote it down here. I was trying to write and do the energy work. The light is information, and dark is the absence of light. And so simplistic and so empowering. Remember years ago, fear being false, evidence appearing real. It seems like we're in such a different dimension of integrating that now. And I just wonder how you see I could be less fragmented, because I speak up because I choose to. And it doesn't always go perfectly, like Mother Teresa, where she can go into the darkest of darks and not have that push pull vulnerable fragmenting. How do you see that I might be able to be more empowered in all of that?
Well, I think it's again being in the present moment with compassion. So we have to sort of address ourselves and ask, am I in conflict, you know, with another individual because I am feeling that I have the answer that they don't have? Is there something in that way? You know, am I because, you know, everybody has their own sort of divine truth and their own expressions and their own uniqueness of why we're here. And I think the idea of when I'm certainly feeling your energy as well, it's like being able to just be in the present moment with that individual, with your heart open, and maybe be curious and asking questions to them about whatever their belief systems are, you know, encouraging them to speak and to speak up, you know, because we can be the ones that do that, but sometimes we can unintentionally, through our energetics, be carrying a power sort of energy that the other person doesn't feel that they have the space to be as free to communicate, you know. So in order to make that shift with that, if we can ask more questions, I think, to others, you know, that's usually what I find, and that's what I feel in the energy. Does that feel helpful?
Yes, sometimes I get zapped and I didn't know it or expect it. And I don't want to be in a defensive mode, you know, putting shields around me and all that, living like that. But how can I be in all those open, curious places without picking up things that are not good for me or
Well, that's
disempowering?
Well, that's a different, that's when you master your field, your energetic field as well. And so, you know, I do recommend Lisa Renee, actually, I don't know if you know who she is, but she has had downloaded the 12D Shield. Well, I have a version of that on my website also that I did. And I recommend, if you are familiar with it, do it. If you're not, I would look it up. the 12D shield, where it allows you to encompass a platinum light around you. And so if you practice that, then you have an awareness where your energetic starts and stops. And, that way you can expand your own energetic field out in that neutrality to know if something is coming into your field or not. And it really is as simple as like, I'm not interested in that. But remember, everything is about a match. So if you're getting triggered or you're feeling something, it's because you're carrying some element of that within your own energetic field. That's why it's such an inward journey. It's such a place of like, am I really in neutrality? What am I carrying? Because if I'm guarding, if I'm already going into a situation feeling that I have to protect myself, well, why? Because I'm source consciousness. I don't have to protect myself from anything. And it's not to say that I'm not aware of the energies, but it's more, it's the difference between sovereignty, which is knowing that I'm self-governed internally. So nobody can make me feel any way. Not to say that things don't come into my energy, but it's like, why? Why are they coming into my energy? And who's the one that's feeling it? Is it a younger version of me that I've not brought into the light, into my own body, into my own awareness? And that's kind of what I feel is happening into your energy. So it's more about getting into that center point, knowing that it's not that I have to protect from anything, but that I want to keep my energy field open, and then I'm going to be curious about what this energy is. And remember, if you're staying in source consciousness at that time, that energy can't sustain itself in your energetic field. And I mean, there's a bit more to that if things
Right.
are going on, but I think
no, that's really helpful.
Mhm.
I'm going to look up what you were just talking about. That sounds like something good to take everything to a deeper level in
Yeah.
myself so
Yeah.
that I can get
Absolutely.
lighter and lighter.
Absolutely. It's really, it's like we clean our bodies. So we just noticing I got a little dirt on me. Oh, okay. Well, let me just clean that off a little bit. Right. It's kind
Cool.
of like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks,
You're welcome.
Lorraine.
Beautiful.
Much love.
Much love to you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We have a couple of questions coming in, and I want to say, Kathleen, when are you booking? Right away or weeks away?
It depends. No, probably. I mean, there might be some that open up. I mean, there might be some that'll open up a bit sooner, but for the most part, but probably about a month out.
Okay, it's well worth the wait, everyone. It really is. And as you wait, you can download her programs, or you can start working with the program. There's a question coming in on that. Is it a downloadable program or is it online? Someone's got spotty internet at times.
Yeah, no, it's all online. It's not downloadable because I have a membership site. So it'll be on the membership site, but you'll have access to it all the time on the membership site.
Okay. So hopefully with your spotty internet, you can stabilize that quantum field. All right, very good. If you are trying to choose an offer, stand by. It's being corrected. You can refresh your screen in a moment. All right, let's go to Oksana as our final person. Do we have time for Oksana real quick here, Cathleena? You're good?
Sure.
Sure,
Right.
thank you. I know we're at the end of our time. So Oksana, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much. I've been following Cathleena for I think 3 years, and thank you. It's just followed synchronicities today, and somehow landed here on this beautiful call. And well, my question is, can you please bring some clarity to twin flame and energetics of I would say wounded masculine is like what I'm experiencing, whether it's this imprint that projected out that I'm rings through. Yeah, the twin flame paradigm and the truth of it.
I'm not sure the question in that. I'm not sure what the question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know that there is the awareness out there in the spiritual community, right? You end up meeting this seeming a person, right? The physical divine counterpart who triggers remembering of that you are the same soul in two bodies.
Mhm.
And it's called the twin flame.
Right.
And so so my question is that as it starts kind of like as intense love, and then it goes into the tumultuous healing journey, where you go into all this healing of your own self and wounded aspects. So my question is, um, um, mm, I guess on integration of feminine and masculine within. What is the key to embodiment of coming into this wholeness? I'm wholeness within, so that you can manifest the divine counterpart that you are.
Okay, I think I get what you're asking. You know, it's all, the journey is all like I said, self-love. So in order to remember, we have to be the person that we are seeking. So that's really the key to it, which is everything that we've talked about here. You know, it really is. It's restoring all the soul fragments. It's releasing imprints. It's being in that place of neutrality. It's truly being in the 0 point present moment and having, you know, authentic discernment and just awareness of who I am. And I think that's when the attraction, you know, I think these people, these humans that are available are already in the energetic field, I think in general for all of us, but that we're, you know, we're, all of our journey is pushing them, pushing, pulling, and so on. And then we have this certain idea of what we think the mate is. I think it's letting all that go. You know, you have to dive deep. You know, I feel like that, and certainly twin flame relationships, from what my experience is not, you know, super fun, so to speak. You know, they can be very challenging because it is a matching of all sorts of things that are coming up in the energetic field. Not to say that it can't be a beautiful thing as well, but I think it's just a lot of dialoguing around that. And to me, I feel like if you're seeking divine partnership, be the person that you are seeking, you know, have that balance of that masculine and feminine within you if you're seeking a balanced partner. You know, that, so the journey is just within, and then the magnet will occur naturally, you know, and having a knowing that that you're worthy of that, you know, that your energetics is open to that. That's really the key to it. You know, so it's everything that we talked about. I would just re-listen to everything that was here, because I think it's absolutely in alignment with divine partnership, 100%.
Thank you so much. That's probably why synchronicities. I clicked on the email and I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds exactly.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful. So thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
you're
so
welcome.
much.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So helpful and healing, this conversation, and expansive as well. And you've left us in a very centered place, 0 point, neutrality. And that is a beautiful place to be. And I just wish that everyone holds this, hold this vibration. Take the advice from Cathleena today and just center and always come back to this place. This is home. And we are in the driver's seat as we embody our soul. If you'd like to work with Cathleena, please check out her special offer, book a personal session. The replay for this show will be right on the webpage, and we look forward to you using this activation again and working with Cathleena's program, 9 weeks to release imprints of shame. Cathleena, as we say goodbye, I just want to give you a moment for final thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I guess what's come forward is that just remember that we are the 0 point. You know, we're all just kids on the playground, and it's really just letting go and allowing yourself to have authentic experiences. So I always say this is really easy and really hard at the same time. The easy part is let go and be yourself. The hard part is let go and be yourself. But it's just I think the more practice we're all getting there, and it's beautiful. So thank you, and thank you, Lauren. Always a pleasure.
So as you said earlier, you know, if you meet someone and you're sweating bullets, go sweat bullets.
Let it happen.
That's showing up authentically and in love and joy with life. Thank you. Thank you, Cathleena. It's so uplifting. My heart is beaming. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Mine as well.
Thank you, everyone. We hope your heart is beaming, and we hope that you are feeling uplifted, because as you are uplifted, our world has shifted, and we hope that you can feel it. Thank you all. We love you. Namaste. And bye-bye. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.